League action. Here we go. Rachel is running back mentor. It seems to be the Sylvan mentor variety that she used in the play-in tournament, not the Jeskai flavor that she ran in the first set of groups. And Brian Kelly, Nahiri control? What is going on, Rodrigo?
Also, yeah, Rachel is playing mentor, and Brian Kelly wants to kill people with Emrakul, I hope.
That seems like a reasonable thing to do with Nahiri. All
right.
right.
Turn one, backfight them, which will be better to be a Jace again.
Backfaden's still pretty good. She's also got a leftover blue mana she can use on a Ponder.
Yeah, if she would have had another blue card, I would have Ponder first, like searching for a fossil will. But that's a fair trade. 2 for 2 is quite okay, but I think it's greedy. I won't have played the library. I'm a huge fan of library.
Oh, even on the play?
Yeah, so you don't even lose one turn. Next turn you draw, you make your land drop.
Yep.
Obviously it's better on the draw, but...
Yeah, so it was a pretty big fork in the road, you're right. She could have gone Library of Alexandria and just said go, and then just slow rolled that hand. The Black Lotus and the Dak Faden would have taken a while to come down, but she'd be drawing an extra card every turn. She does not know what she's up against. I mean, if she knew she was up against Nahiri Control, maybe the slow card advantage route would have looked better. Also, oh, by the way, Brian did have a strip mine in his hand, so she was not successfully going to get to be on the library plan.
That's just a time walk for both players if he strips.
Yeah, fair.
So
and then it turns out she would have had the Jace to go with the Black Lotus instead of the Dak. Still would have run into that Force of Will.
Yeah, but now she has nothing. And
story.
Yeah, I like On the Dark playing Library always. Like,
wow, main deck Supreme Perfect.
What's easier, that your opponent has Fossil Will or a Strip Effect?
There are more Force of Wills in enemy decks than there are strip mines. That's fair. Look at the main deck Supreme Verdict tech, by the way. That is for this matchup. Like, if you're Brian Kelly, the reason to play main deck Supreme Verdict is you think you're going to play against Mentor decks. And here he's gotten basically a Mentor matchup, which he probably knows at this point.
Yeah, so I think Verdict is quite a good card in Vintage right now with so many creatures.
I agree.
And in the Leopold deck, I also played one Supreme, and the second time I played it, I had in the sideboard first and then in the main deck because it was just really good. It's the card that you always want.
I think the card's well positioned right now as well. I mean, the fact that it's blue and can be pitched to Force of Will is just a huge help. Like, the bar for getting into one of these decks as a blue card is so much higher than for a non-blue card. So I guess the bar is lower.
And the chat is saying that Library is not really good in Mentor decks, which I disagree a lot, because with Dash, you get so fast up into the Library again, which I don't know why the Stony Silence deck of Rich plays 2 Wastelands and 1 Strip Mine and no Library. I think the card is just so good in Mentor that I have put a deck like the one from Rich and just put a Wasteland in the sideboard and Library in the main deck because the card is really good. You win so many games just with it.
All right. Well, speaking of winning games, Boats Full of Gold do a pretty good job. There is the Emrakul that you predicted when you saw the word Nahiri in his deck name. You know, Brian's been able to gush. He's been able to just cantrip into a full graveyard. Now that Treasure Cruise is just pulling him a mile ahead. And Rachel does have a Jace, but she got one land stripped. Now she's got the Flooded Strand, but she's basically just done nothing for the last couple turns while Brian has put together quite a saucy hand.
Yeah, so Brian next turn is going to land a Jace with Forced Backup and I think this game is gonna be over really fast.
Yeah, he even gets to brainstorm the Emrakul back into the deck for later.
You don't even care.
Yeah. It still feels good. It still feels good. He's far enough ahead that he could just discard it and shuffle it and he'd be fine. But
if I have an active Jace, I don't care about discarding because I have 8 cards and get a free shuffle of Emrakul.
Well, Rachel takes a look at what she's up against. This is going to be a slog. This one is going to be tough.
It's pretty sad that she has seen the Emrakul because she will think that's a mentor deck. If not...
That's a good point. Until now, she probably thought she was up against just vanilla mentor. Now she sees, okay, Supreme Verdict, that's important to know about, and Emrakul.
Okay, here is Tiny Jace, who's nothing worth because it's gonna get swords.
Well, the mana is a little off. It means that Brian has to choose between a swords or a Jace. His mana does not currently let him do both on the same turn.
He can Jace and bounce the Jace.
Could. Oh, she's going to slow roll it. Interesting. I'm not sure I agree with that decision. I would have just run out Tiny Jace there.
Yeah, so...
I mean, not that it's going to stick, but you just give him something that might stop him from playing Mind Sculptor here, right?
He's going to play Mind Sculptor. He plays Mind Sculptor and bounces the little Jace.
Agree. And I'd rather have him bouncing Baby Jace than drawing a card, I guess.
Yeah, but... when does this... Yeah, I was thinking that Brian knows Rachel's hand, so showing that you drew a Jace, maybe...
Oh, did he probe her earlier? He might have.
I think he probed earlier in the game. I cannot see his...
Yeah, okay. It's been exiled by the Treasure Cruise since then, but he did.
So he knows at least the mocks and the swords. And maybe the big Jace. But yeah, this Jace is gonna run away with the game. All because Fossil will on the first hand.
Right. Yeah, if he doesn't have the, what is it, like 42% that you have Force of Will in the first turn? Something like that. He had it for her turn 1 deck.
Yeah, here. So to get back into the game, Rachel needs to draw a land to gush into the library, but still not the best position.
It's a good point, though. Gush would, in fact, put her on library.
So if Rachel plays a land and then gushes, you Fossil Will there?
Because of the Library Exandria, I think I might.
So you are quite far ahead that you can stop the gush without caring about... Yeah, now... Oh, he drew that.
There's the fetch land.
So...
Gets the reshuffle.
Here.
Jace Brainstorm. Everything coming up, Brian Kelly.
So
there's Nahiri. Not that he's in any hurry. I mean, at some level, he can just play with his food as long as he wants to here.
Yeah, but you have to play your cards, because if not, you're gonna start discarding. And now here is the return clock, which is quite a lot. So in 2 turns,
finds a second Force of Will.
6. Okay, he's gonna discard a land. I expect to have double Force of Will. Preordain. Okay, so he values more the land. So here is Mentor, which...
Yeah, good luck. All he's got is 2 Force of Wills and a misstep, plus after he untaps a Flusterstorm. He's not even going to bother using the Force of Will. I think, yeah, Supreme Verdict rather than Nahiri is probably how you play this. Card wasn't doing anything anyway.
You Verdict and try to kill her next turn. Oh, Fate Sealing is here quite a good play.
Sure.
Just the nail in the coffin. You have a spicy card? Not now. That got traded by Ancestral Recall.
It was a hard hand to upgrade, but he pulled it off.
I think it's easier to upgrade back into a better card.
Rachel's like, what are the odds this Mind Sculptor resolves?
I think 0. So, yeah.
They were definitely under, yeah, and now the scoop, sure. I think that's the right time to scoop. This game's over, and she's gotten to see what he's up to. She got to see the Nahiri. She should know at this point there's going to be an Emrakul in his deck, and that is how the game is going to end, at least when the opponent doesn't scoop first. Notice anything spicy with these sideboards, or?
No, I think both sideboards are pretty regular. So, oh, Rachel is playing Dromoka.
Oh, nice. Sure.
So
that's
it's
spice.
And Kelly is playing.
Oh, and Containment Priest. Containment Priest beats Nahiri for Emrakul, doesn't it?
Yeah, it stops, but he can just get an artifact and put it into play instead if Containment comes to the field.
Does he have anything exciting?
Yeah, Fluster and the usual cards. Windbreak Trap.
No, I just meant, does he have a plan for Nahiri other than Emrakul? What is that, 2 Nahiris?
Yeah, 2 Nahiris, 1 Supreme, 2 Chases, 1 Moat.
Oh, a Moat.
Huh. And 1 Mana Drain.
Okay.
Maybe he thought it was restricted like in old school. Balance.
It's too expensive. I want to play Mana Drain so bad. Every time I try playing Mana Drain, it just sits in my hand. It's too slow.
But the problem is because of Gush.
Yeah, I agree.
So
think you're on the restrict Gush camp?
Yeah, I think the card is not good for Vintage.
There is a DNR date coming up. We're 2 weeks away. I don't know if they're going to be looking at Vintage at this point, but there is an announcement date coming up before the end of our season.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a fresh format for the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, will be cool. Like, no Misstep and no Gush.
Misstep and Gush are your cards? I get Taxian Probes on my list, too. Like, not that the Mentor deck should lose 3 cards, but I'd rather see it lose 1 than 0.
I think Gush is not a nice card to have because
it constrains all the blue decks. It just means this blue deck is so much more threat dense than all the other blue decks that you can't play Mana Drain. You can't play, in theory, you can't play interesting decks like the one Brian is playing. But it didn't stop him from winning games.
He also plays Gush.
Fair.
But this is not a Gush deck usually.
Right.
So
that is a lot of fast mana Brian just drew. The Lotus and the Soul Ring with Ancestral Preordained DAC.
And Rachel has a turn 3 Dromoka.
So she does, assuming she finds a land, right?
Yeah, I expect in 2 draws to get a land.
And we'll try to get the actual game back. There's our client. All right, Brian Kelly up a game, kicking off week 4 action.
Now can Brian do the turn 1 DAC and get forced? No, yeah.
He has to sack his Lotus for red mana if he wants to DAC. I'm not sure I want to sack my Lotus for red mana given that hand. I think I'd rather cast an Ancestral and a Preordain and a Ponder.
Yeah,
and we'll see what he draws.
Preordain and then Ponder and then Ancestral to search for mode. Dromoka beats that.
That's true. Nice sideboard, Rachel. A flyer.
He flies over the mode.
I think Dromoka might be a she. Not sure.
In Spain, most of the players has had Fossato because that's the Italian mode. They are cheaper.
Sure. Oh, my moats are Italian too. Trust me, they're cheaper everywhere. I think I have one English moat and a couple Italians.
Oh, I would have not expected that.
All right, he does not play the Lotus. He's just leading with a Ponder. He's going to see what's up.
Yeah, you're gonna Ponder anyway, so I usually prefer to play Preordain first because it gives you more filtering. But yeah, if you're searching for one specific card, Ponder is better. If you're searching like for Force of Will or whatever,
Misstep maybe. Defend his
but
ancestral.
in the long run, Preordain then Ponder, it's better. Oh, he got Force of Will.
There you go.
Did he shuffle it or did he keep?
I don't know. Well, now the Gush does give her turn 3 Dromoka. All right, how's Brian going to play this? Fetch land turns his DAC on without having to sack the Lotus for red.
Here, having a Flusterstorm will be great. Like making deck fight and Ancestral and protect them with Flusterstorm. But I think I didn't saw in his deck list.
He's doing his best to bait out a misstep. She's actually been sitting on it, right? She had it last turn and declined to misstep the Ponder. Now she's going to decline to misstep the Preordain.
So I will not waste a misstep if I only have one.
You're saving it for actual restricted cards?
No, for another misstep.
Oh, by the way, Ponder's already restricted. Like, I mean, I won't waste it on a Gitaxian Probe if I only have one, but I would usually point it at a Ponder.
Also depends on your hand.
Fair.
In another game on the league, I did misstep 2 of Brian Skelly Gitaxian Probes.
Yeah.
But it depends on your hand and what your plan is. So here's Dromoka.
What she she wants to defend this Dromoka from like a plow, is I think what she wants to do.
Yeah. I think in sideboarding, Brian did sideboard all the plows.
Interesting. All right. Well, he brought the moat in. Like, he probably thought moat was good enough, but
no. I think he has moat in main deck.
Really?
I'm not sure. I think yes.
I'll send the link around to you after.
And a sudden shock. Okay.
All right. So here's Dragonlord Dromoka. She is uncounterable. Brian's going to go ahead and go for his ancestral. Rachel's got the misstep. Now Brian has to decide whether he wants to use his Force of Will to defend Ancestral, and I think he might have to because he has no answer to Dragonlord Dromoka. This is actually a signature Brian Kelly card, too. The Kelly Oath deck that people call it, the one he won the Vintage World Championships with, about a year and a half ago now, had a Dragonlord Dromoka in it to Oath Up or Hardcast. So a card he's quite familiar with.
He told me he won a lot of games, like playing Dromoka and then Time Walk.
Sure.
Like, it's only 8 mana.
And
8 mana is nothing for Vintage.
Yeah, and in addition to the fact it's uncounterable, it means they can't cast any spells on your turn. That is pretty powerful.
So next turn, she's gonna gush and dig and swing, and here you force the deck.
Interesting. I don't know if I do.
I think I don't force it because you don't care. She's gonna just filter 2 cards, and your both draw spells are getting you more cards.
Right, she doesn't particularly want to pitch either of those blue cards. And what she really wants that Force of Will to do is defend Dromoka from whatever answer he finds. I guess Supreme Verdict is the one she can't defend it from. But she has to put him on having some plows in his deck at this point.
So plows are usually pretty bad against mentor decks.
I agree, but when you're playing against the mentor deck, you don't want to not be able to kill a mentor.
He has Sudden Shock and Supreme Verdict and Mode. I think
I didn't notice the Sudden Shocks. Sudden Shock, way better. Big Mama is here. Oh dear, says Brian Kelly. Love it. Very nice.
So here you cash, and then you draw more cards, and then more.
How about a Sylvan and a dig through time? That sound good?
Oh, he cannot delve all his graveyard. She will have to pay 3 for this.
Oh, I see. Yeah, good point.
But maybe she would like to play a land before, so she can get a mox with dig and then play Sylvan Library. Instead
yeah,
of
that sounds right. It's subtle, but I think I agree with you. With only 5 cards to delve, I think you want to tap the Tundra or the Volcanic as the 8th mana, the 3rd actual mana.
Yeah, depends what you value more, like getting a Pyroblast or playing the Library. Maybe it's better just to...
Wow, she values Sylvan more than dig through time.
Whoa.
Sure.
Yeah, having double blue cards.
It's true.
So
she's even got the life like she's gaining 5 life a turn with the Dromoka attacks. I want the Sylvan too. It's like drawing 3 cards a turn.
She forgot about Dromoka, and she thought, oh, maybe Brian forces my Library.
No, I think she just put a lot of value on the library, and I think I agree with her.
Yeah, so she's gonna run away on this.
Down goes Dak Faden. All right. So she attacks Dak Faden to get to kill the Planeswalker instead of attacking Brian. That seems smart.
Yeah, you will kill him eventually in the future.
Right.
The bad thing
denying him the ability to cycle for answers seems smart.
The bad thing about Dromoka is that you only delay the counter wars to your opponent's turn.
True.
Which I think in Mentor it's not so good than in a deck that you can just win on the spot if you untap with Dromoka.
Okay, it's not. She'd be better off if she had a combo kill. Okay, fine, but it's still a great card to have as a sideboard in against control. And she knew she had Brian Kelly as one of her opponents. So, all right, here comes the fight. Dig through time for Brian Kelly. Rachel forces. Brian forces back. Does she use her force and her dig through time or not? You know you can resolve dig through time next turn. Yeah, I think declining is reasonable. It's like she can say we both resolve a dig through time. You do get to resolve yours first, but we both get to resolve one. Is how she's decided.
So the scenario that will happen with this is she will get a counter and sword, even if it doesn't have, and he will have to counter back, and so she will have to counter back. So I think forcing their dig through time is like a double demonic tutor. I think it's too strong.
You would force if you're Rachel?
Yeah, you have the library. You can just draw.
Because of the Sylvan library, I think I agree with you, but only because of the Sylvan.
Also, Dromoka has lifelink. That means that it's 1 extra card by library each turn.
Right. So trading is just good. I'll trade you, even if you have to trade. I mean, it's a 2-for-2 trade.
She's gonna lose Dromoka.
Wow. Can't force a will that. Okay, that was kind of the worst case scenario for Rachel off that dig through time.
Yeah.
She doesn't even get to resolve hers now.
He got something to kill Dromoka and something to unforce a will. That's... So she pays, like, you pay every day.
That was pay 8 life, draw 3 cards. What did I get?
Chase, you force back, and then
back.
Yeah, Rachel has now the chase.
She's still winning. She's still got a Mind Sculptor and a Sylvan.
Yeah, so Brian needs to draw into Ancestral or Gush. There's the containment.
The moat is going to be an issue, though. I don't know if, did she board in a card that can deal with a moat?
No, but she has Chase.
Ah, fair enough. She can just win with the Planeswalker. That's fair.
Nahiri, that's not. So she's gonna enjoy a Library, a Treasure Cruise, a Jace, a Mentor. That's a lot of good cards.
She paid 4 life. This is going to get her on the library.
Here, you brainstorm first. I would have Mentor first. Like Mentor, Treasure Cruise, Jace. Even if the Jace gets... Even if the Mentor gets countered, you just draw a lot of cards. So...
And the cruise? Again, ignoring library, but I mean, her board's fine. Brian comes up with a mana for this moat, though. All of a sudden, that negates the Mentor. She's really putting Brian in a spot where he basically must draw a moat, draw the 4th land for the moat. Never mind. Force of Will and a blue card. I think we're done. That should pretty much do it.
Jace seems like a good card in Magic.
Not bad. So far, this battle is going to whoever draws Mind Sculptor first, huh? And yeah, Brian's not even interested in making her go through the motions. He's got, 3 months already. There's so little chance of him surviving next turn that...
I think Vintage changed a lot since Jace came out, because most of the old Vintage decks was only like a Jarmoth Will deck, like you control the game and gain advantage to kill with a big Will or Tinker.
Yep.
And now there is this Jace dance where you play a Jace. It doesn't win the game, but end up overwhelming your opponent. So
yeah.
Yes. Also, to kill the Dromo card, he has a Balance, Supreme Verdict, and both Nahiris, and also 2 Jaces.
Oh, right. Mikiri kills Dromoka.
And
forgot about that.
I think he brought it back in the main break trap because it also counters Dromoka. Okay, she removed the Containment Priest, I think. No, she didn't. I don't think Containment Priest is a good card against Nahiri.
I don't know. I mean, it's a thing. It does a thing. She does not have a moat answer. She's just on the Planeswalker. She has to win with Mind Sculptor and Dromoka. Did she see the moat? Did she see his hand in there at any point? I don't know if she knows about it.
I think she saw the moat. Maybe that was in the first game.
Yeah, I don't think she saw the moat. I don't think she.
I also don't think she would have sideboarded in the Nature's Claim.
I think so. All right, on to game 3.
Rachel plays 3 Pyroblast. That's a lot of Pyroblast. Yeah, I think it's fine.
I mean, Brian's got 2.
What do you think of counters nowadays? How many counters do you think you need?
It depends. Like, I don't think you can actually build a true control deck in Vintage because, like, even what passes for a control deck, and Brian's about as close as anybody gets, he's still, Nahiriing out an Emrakul pretty early. My point being, I don't think you can hold control of the game for very long. So it's weird. It's like Flusterstorm's great, except again the shops matchup, and the counters are so matchup dependent that I don't know that you can just say, "Oh, you need this many counters."
I think like 4 Fossil Will, 1 Pyroblast, 1 Mindbreak Trap, one Flusterstorm right now is quite good. And then Mental Missteps from 2 to 4. So.
Another card you're not a fan of? I just want to get rid of Phyrexian Mana. Let's lose the Misstep and also the Gitaxian Probe, right?
I don't think these are cool cards.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they add fun to the format. They just subtract.
I have played a lot of Phyrexian Mana, but I know it's not right. But it's just powerful, also.
Yeah. Speaking of, this time she does point the Misstep at the turn 1 preordain.
She has a turn 1 Jace.
Fair enough. That's why.
Nothing.
And again, she's like, I don't care about this library. If she hadn't misstepped, no,
Yeah,
she's
but
on 6 cards. She mulliganed.
this
That's
library
why she
is
didn't.
not so good.
It's because she mulliganed, so she couldn't be on library even on turn 1.
No,
So
she
she
missed
crosses
it.
her fingers. Jace! This time it resolves. No force of will for Brian Kelly. And for the second game in a row, it's Rachel who has the Mind Sculptor doing her bidding. Wow, Brian's hand does nothing next turn. She's going to see it. Is Rachel about to take down the champ?
Seems like so.
Seems like so.
Yeah, Ancestral Recall is a good card if he draws it. That's
a
late.
little late. Fetch land is the green mana for the Sylvan.
I would hold up Pyroblast here.
Instead of playing Sylvan?
Yeah, I think you have already a lot of cards with Jace, so take care of what your opponent could do to beat you.
Looks like she agrees with you.
Why risk that he draws like Ancestral into a lot of spells if you can?
I think you're right. Now he has to just slam Dak and cross his fingers, right?
Would you force back here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'd rather defend Nahiri, I think.
I think it's also better, but...
Plus, what am I pitching? Right, I might...
4, 5...
Yeah, this is exactly what Rachel was waiting for. All right, you can play a Planeswalker on turn 3?
Also, to note that Rachel shuffled in the 2 fetch land, so now she doesn't have a fetch land. Okay, now she has to play. Okay, we put.
Yeah, she had kept one of the 2 fetch lands she saw last turn, but shuffled the other away. No problem. Fetch land. She was going to see 4 cards. It was probably happening.
You play Sylvan. So you fetch and probe. That's sure. And then you go for mentor or for level. Seems like she wants to mentor.
Sure.
Force of will.
Yeah, I think he has to. At least himself with just the theory.
Maybe Brian could go away with this game. Like,
shields are down right now, and you can't Pyroblast a Nahiri. It is tricky to remove.
If he wins this game against turn 1 Jace, that's gonna be so great. He plays Lotus Petal.
Interesting.
He wants mana.
He's all in on Nahiri. Can Rachel stop Nahiri from summoning Emrakul? That is the game we're playing now. She basically needs to find a mentor. That's what she needs to do.
Yeah, mentor or Time Walk. Both are fine cards.
Well, Time Walk is just buying her more time to find mentor, though, really.
Yeah, but Time Walk with Jace and with Sylvan, I think.
I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just saying it's a means to an end, that's all.
It's just an explore. Not? Why she didn't get green?
All right, so she shuffled. She did not get green mana. She wants to treasure cruise. That makes sense to me. This gets her on the library, too. So this is like draw 4 for a single blue mana.
Recall.
Ancestral. It's not a recall. I had this conversation before. I thought you were old enough. Apparently not. There used to be a card called Recall. That's why people my age will lament. You can't call Ancestral.
The Recall is the Recall. And that's...
You even play Old School. It's still a relevant Old School card. All right. Well, she found Monastery Mentor. There you go. Monastery Mentor has arrived. This should be in time to attack Nahiri and keep Emrakul shuffled into Brian's deck.
How great would it be to draw Moat now?
No, Moat would be absurd. She does not have a counterspell. She's found a Flusterstorm.
So she picks up Nahiri and draws Moat.
That's not a moat. Wow, that would have been an insane top deck.
She has a redraw with Nahiri.
True. Nahiri defend herself?
Draw mode. Ah!
Misstep.
Okay, so that ended up being a game that was
interesting. So yeah, Flusterstorm cannot defend Jace there because Stormcat was only 1, and he could just pay the 2 mana. So Mind Sculptor's dead, but she's on the library. Draw a card with library first. She's on the library. She can cast. She may just be able to kill him.
What the hell?
Forget about Nahiri. Can she just kill Brian?
Yeah, so she has lethal in hand. If she starts countering his own spells and this kind. I brainstorm here first, like brainstorm, then also ponder, then brainstorm, then see what happens.
I don't think she knows what the last card is in Brian's hand, so a little bit of this is maybe her hedging. What if he's got like a plow or something? At this point, I think she's probably just jamming, but I think her sequencing is affected by not knowing what Brian's card is. All right, well, now she's going to know. Brian's like, what if I stop 1 cantrip? Is that good enough? No, sorry, dude.
Brainstorm.
It actually gives Rachel a more convenient Pyroblast target, is what that does.
I will Fluster. You can just Pyroblast into nothing if needed. Okay, Gush is also a great card.
Whatever.
Maybe she can kill him and Nahiri at the same time.
Brian's not going to let her. Nahiri's not going to die on Brian Kelly's watch. Brian concedes the match. Rachel Agnes runs into the deck that's packing main deck Supreme Verdict, packing a Nahiri kill, packing Moat. No problem. Sylvan Mentor's got this. Turn 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor. There were some Sylvan libraries involved, and Rachel is the one that picks up the thumbs up. Wow. All right. I asked you what you thought these two were on. What do you think Paul's on? You got to go play him now. What's your prediction?
I don't know. I expect that his deck has Time Vault.
Okay. Something with some broken artifacts in it. I'll buy that.
He could play some deck with a lot of planes. That's also something.
Over the years, that's certainly true. All right, well, we'll let you go get ready to play, Paul. Stay tuned, guys. We're gonna run some commercials. When we come back, it'll be time for round number 2.
Bye.